Hello, I'm Samantha Stevens, the Community Schools Coordinator for the North Country Supervisory Union. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the programs we run so that you can help be a connector for students and families who might make use of the services and supports we offer. The North Country Supervisory Union is one of the largest and most rural school districts in Vermont. We are comprised of 11 schools that serve 12 communities across almost 550 square miles. Historically, NCSU schools are among Vermont schools with the highest percentage of students receiving free and reduced lunch. Financial challenges persist for students in our SU, in large part due to unemployment and the persistence of low-wage jobs. In recent years, we've had a steady increase in the number of students who are experiencing homelessness. Many students and families experience food insecurity, domestic violence, substance abuse disorder, and the need to access physical and mental health resources that are in short supply. There is a concerted effort in our NCSU school system to increase supports to students at both the school and supervisory union level. We're fortunate to have many community partner relationships that help meet the needs of our students and families. However, in addition to those connections and supports, we have invested in the expansion of our own system. The NCSU Community Schools Office and its staff and physical space are dedicated to providing social and integrated student supports to help students come to school ready to learn. Our office is located at the North Country Supervisory Union Central Office in Newport, but work is highly mobile, and we're out meeting and connecting students and their families across the Supervisory Union with services that increase access to a wide variety of SU and community-based supports every day. These staff also run the Family Resource Center, a physical space which includes a classroom and kitchen where families and students have access to laundry machines, an emergency food pantry, laptops and wireless access, and resources to support them during periods of homelessness. The center is also a place where we host meetings for students and families with community service providers, where homeschool coordinators can gain information and training about area resources and engage in group problem-solving sessions, and where tutoring, life skills classes, and playgroups occur. In our day-to-day work, community school staff members help ensure identification and supports to students and families who are experiencing homelessness, chronic absenteeism, inadequate access to health or mental health services, and needs related to general social service coordination. Students who are experiencing homelessness may be eligible for a wide variety of services to help them through that time. In addition to their right to remain in their school of origin or to transition to a new school in their new district, they are also eligible to receive transportation services, free school meals, and a variety of services that help ensure that any transitions in their schooling can be overcome with tutoring services. We are able to offer a much broader array of programs and services for students experiencing homelessness because of our McKinney-Vento subgrant and other resources that we are able to make possible for our students. When a student is unable to come to school because of homelessness, we often lose communication and connection with their families that is critical to ensuring that we can meet their needs. Because of this, we've worked really hard to be able to offer cell phones and laptops so that students can connect to their schools when times are changing, and also so that we can be sure that they are able to connect with the community programs that can end the conditions of homelessness sooner. Some of the most important partners in the work of the North Country Community Schools Office are our homeschool coordinators, school nurses, school administrators, and administrative assistants across our SU. We really rely on those folks to help us identify students who are in need of help, and we hope that those folks will also feel comfortable helping to introduce families to the work of our office and of the Family Resource Center. When you can help make the connection for families that you know best, they have a sense of trust and connection to us before they even walk in the door. And all of that really sets us on the path to be able to do the important work that's needed in order to help them get to a point where those kids can focus on their learning again. In addition to the resources that we offer at the Family Resource Center and in the Community Schools Office, one of the most important roles that we play is to help identify families who are eligible for the federal McKinney-Vento law. In the North Country Supervisory Union, students are identified for McKinney-Vento services through a kind of broad variety of means. In addition to our online screener that's included in the home school registration document, we also provide postings for every school to have in the locations that families visit most so that families can self-identify for the program. And we also rely on trainings of staff and community members so that they can help identify the eligibility requirements for McKinney-Vento when they meet new families. When a staff member identifies a student who might be experiencing homelessness, they complete a referral form that includes all of the relevant details so that I can help reach out to those families and understand better what they're going through. In our office, there's also a significant expertise in the area of student absenteeism. We have come to recognize truancy as a main issue affecting the ability of students to access their learning. If you're not present, you can't participate in the activities of your classroom, and you aren't coming to school ready to learn that day. We want to make sure that the barriers to students attending school are identified early and are met with compassionate supports so that families and students can help address those needs and come to school as frequently as possible. When we got started, we had a vision of a program that could serve the basic needs of families and students from one central location. But as we started thinking more about what would best meet the needs in our community, we realized quickly that transportation was going to be a primary need. We were really thrilled when we received a congressional earmark from Bernie Sanders' office to be able to purchase 3 Bernie buses. The Bernie buses make it possible for us to pick families up at their homes, take them to community appointments, bring them here to the Family Resource Center for laundry, food, meetings with other staff members, get kids to school every day. That's been a huge part of the work that we do with the Bernie vans. When a family member calls you and says they can't get their child to school because their car doesn't work that day, it's the best feeling in the world to say, wait right there, we'll be there in 10 minutes, and know that the child and the family will feel safe getting into your car and they'll get to school for another day of learning. There are lots of different ways that families and students can come to be connected to our office. Sometimes it's by a school nurse who notices that a family is struggling to have a prescription refilled and discovers that the student no longer has transportation to get them to the pharmacy. Sometimes it's by a community service provider who recognizes that a student who has come into their office with a parent should be in school and starts to ask what might be a disconnect for that child to attending that day. When a family wants to connect with us directly, it's usually because they've heard about our services from someone else that they know, and that person has communicated that getting to know us has been helpful to something in their lives. So when a family comes to us directly, it's through a phone call or an email or a text message that's sent to the phone numbers that are available at the end of this video, or also just by calling the Supervisory Union direct line. A family who calls us directly is going to be asked, what can I do for you today? Tell me a little bit about your story. When families feel comfortable to share those details, we can do a much better job of identifying resources to meet their needs. I think it's a privilege when our families are willing to share those details with us, and we work really hard to build trust. Confidentiality is one of the most important aspects of our work, and we do not make moves to support families that they are not completely in line with. So when we identify things that we think might be helpful to a family situation, we'll talk through what next steps might be and work really hard to make sure that they feel comfortable with those things. This is the case with families, but it's also the case with unaccompanied youth who we work with. Many of the students at the high school that we're most connected to are living apart from a legal guardian, and it's really critical that when they're involved in the services that we provide, they understand exactly what will occur when referrals are made for them. For many of those youth, it's the first time they've ever engaged with programs outside of their schools or with service providers outside of their schools, and so we have those meetings with those students just as we would have meetings with a adult family member who we might be serving. Once we've determined what the needs are and what services and supports we think would be most helpful, then we'll set up meetings with service providers in our space, in a community location, or maybe in the office of a community provider. We again attend those meetings as often as possible with the family or the youth, but once we feel like that connection is solid, we're working to build independence so that family members don't feel like they always have to come to us for their needs and support, and also so that they don't feel like they have to constantly report what's happening in their lives to somebody else. As long as we can make the connection to the resources that will help them and they're able to access those on their own successfully, that's the goal of our work. We don't need to stay connected in the long term once a family member has the resources they need to keep the work going. Not all of our work is in one direction. We also have families that come back to us and offer their own resources that they think would be helpful to meet other people's needs. And that always feels really great because when the relationship is reciprocal, our community is stronger. And so it's been really incredible to have times that we have helped families through a difficult moment in their lives, and then they come back with new information or new resources that we can share with others, and we can experience the success of whatever that was together, and also express our gratitude for their participating and helping to build connections for other people. It also feels really great when unaccompanied youth come back to us after graduation and tell us how well they're doing and what steps they've taken in independence in their own lives. And I think more than many people, we get to see those accomplishments and celebrate those accomplishments with our unaccompanied youth, because they do come to feel really connected with this office because it had helped meet their needs. I can't emphasize enough how important collaboration is in this work. We could not meet students and families without the introduction of our community partnering agencies and with school staff and teachers and paraprofessionals and bus drivers. All of us are a part of making sure that the system works well. We also could not do our work without creative ideas for new programming that helps resolve long-standing issues. Things like the community dental collaboration that we've been working on have helped bring dental services into schools in the form of mobile dental labs, where students who need connection to dental services can walk out to the parking lot and get into a mobile unit that will give them a dental exam and other services that might have been lacking for years for those students. The work of the Community Schools Office can be challenging, but we also experience a lot of successes. Right now, our grocery delivery program is serving 111 individuals weekly with groceries delivered directly to their home. Our playgroups have served 72 individuals in the last year who come to schools throughout the community where playgroups arrive, deliver toys and food so that community members can come together in play with young children 0 to 3 years old. Last year, we were able to provide material goods to 152 students who needed access to resources that would allow them to participate in activities at school and in after-school activities. It's really important that community members remember that they're a huge part of the success of every one of our students. When our students are thriving, the future of our community is bright. When we come together in support of those efforts, all of us have a role to play in the direction of our future community here. Many of us have lived many years in this community. We've grown up in families that have been here for generations, or we've grown up in places far from here and chosen to make this our home. I hope that you'll join the Family Resource Center and the Community Schools Office team in helping to make sure that all students come to school ready to learn so that we can build a brighter future for everyone in the Northeast Kingdom.